Just quick thing to bring up, just the mention of the Avengers. I appreciated it, but at the same time, I thought it was overly done.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. You know, I will say that this was probably one of the better, this is why they can't come reasons that you got in the movie, because it made sense. This is literally after Civil War. Yeah. The Accords, the Avengers had disbanded. I was like, damn, that's the best one yet.
It is.
Because usually they'll kind of hint at it, and then this, it's some bullshit,
he's
right?
Doing something. I think he had a doctor's appointment or something. I don't
You know what it is? Hawkeye's daughter's birthday. And Iron Man's supposed to come there. He gonna perform, so they can't come. Nigga, what? These are world-ending stakes. The Avengers can't show up.
Right. Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Cynicism. I'm Eric.
It's your boy Dante, man, and today we're going to be doing a review on Black Widow.
Yeah, we finally got a story about Black Widow. I feel like this is considerably overdue, considering where we are in the MCU right now.
Right.
But, you know, that's neither here nor there. Of course, this focuses on Black Widow, played by Scarlett Johansson. This kind of takes place after Captain America Civil War, but before, obviously, Infinity War. Yeah, this story talks about her childhood with her family. We kind of get to see more of what she underwent and how she became the highly skilled and trained assassin and covert agent that she is today. Also, it focuses on her sister too, or her adoptive sister and their relationship. They were all like sleeper agents or something. I guess the parents were kind of more so like the handlers.
We've heard a lot of talk about her and her past, and of course her working with the Red Room and things like that, but you really get a lot more detail into what that looked like. I enjoyed this look, just this closer look into her as a character, because it is a long overdue movie, because she was an essential Avenger. She's been around since Iron Man 2. All of the people that were in the first Avengers movie, Hawkeye included, have gotten some type of a closer lens on who they are or who they are behind the scenes. And we've never really got that for Black Widow. She's always remained kind of mysterious.
We saw a different side of her. It was a much more vulnerable and softer side of Black Widow that we really haven't seen. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
First you have Black Widow, who she's one of many Black Widows. We kind of get subtle hints that, you know, she had a pretty jacked up past, but we really get to see more of it here. And man, the whole damn removal of all the reproductive organs, man, that is fucked up, man.
Bro, she mentioned that in I believe Age of Ultron.
Yeah, that's what it was.
But dude, listen, to hear the details, because they really give you some details on what that was about. That's a lot. These people are under some type of like a mind control. They got chips in them. Yeah. So it's like they have elements of free will. In actuality, in the grand scheme, they don't. It's taking place after Civil War. It seems like this is immediately after that airport scene when everybody kind of disbanded and things like that, and shit really hit the fan. Secretary Ross is in pursuit of her because she's in violation of the Accords. She kind of jumps ship and leaves and goes abroad.
Literally.
Right, exactly. Her sister leaves her a cryptic message, these vials that she finds that's going to come into play later in the movie.
They're like an antidote.
There you go.
Kind of
that's what it is.
Type chemical to release these other Black Widow agents of whatever control they're under. You know, usually she's a lot more OP, I feel, and not OP, but she doesn't lose fights, you know, frequently. Here, I feel like she was kind of getting her ass whooped. Yeah. They can't have the main hero whooping everybody's ass. You know what I'm saying? They got to have some kind of battle or some type of struggle. So I understood why they did it. Plus, the people that she was up against were probably like, and they were on her level.
I was just about to say that. I don't know if she was, I don't think she was depowered. I think she was just fighting people that were worthy adversaries. They said her sister, who kind of gave her the business, was like the top assassin in the world, at least in that, in the Black Widow program. And then she's fighting other high caliber Black Widow assassins and people that work for the Red Room. So in the realm of that, it made sense to me.
You know, I've always had mixed feelings about Scarlett Johansson playing Black Widow. Scarlett Johansson is amazing. Like, I know she's a great actress and everything. That's never really been my issue. It's just I always envisioned Black Widow to have a certain something. Like, I never would have guessed Scarlett Johansson to play her. I would have thought they would have went with like a lesser known actress. When I think of Black Widow's voice, like I hear a certain type of voice, and it's not Scarlett Johansson's voice when I think of her. You know what I mean? I think they tried to go in a different direction in these modern movies than the thick Russian. Well, at least I thought so. They was trying to go in a different direction than what I was used to, which was like the Russian accent with Black Widow. But I think in recent years they've changed that. But then I saw Black Widow in this movie, and they touched on her Russian Russian descent and all of that. So I was kind of curious as to why they chose to remove that.
How do you feel about her today then? I mean, because it's been some years since she's been Black Widow, and that's why that comment is very interesting to me.
I think I still be seeing Scarlett Johansson. It's not that she does a bad job, you know what I'm saying? It's just what I see personally. I just always see Scarlett Johansson. But I think that just goes back to me having a vision of what I thought Black Widow would be in film. Let's talk about her sister, man.
Man, let's do it.
Yelena. She kind of the heart of the family and of the film because she was one of the few in the family that really felt like they were a real family. I guess she felt like Natasha kind of abandoned her. She felt abandonment from everybody, but especially from Natasha because she was her oldest sister, and all of the family dynamic felt real to her. You know, once they reunite, I thought it was going to be more of a coldness to her, but I was happy to see that once they reconnected, they were cool.
That relationship, like you said, it's kind of the heart of this movie. I didn't expect that, but I did expect a great performance from Florence Pugh, who plays her sister. She's phenomenal in everything she's in. She's actually one of my new favorite actresses. Even though you could feel that she feel a way about her leaving her being more excited that she's back, it kind of takes the foreground on that. You don't really get to see a lot of animosity and things like that. They kind of jump right back into sister mode. Even though everybody's kind of putting on the front, you can tell that they all really believe that they was a family, which I would honestly, I would say that they were. I mean, for 3 years, y'all were together, living together in pivotal years of their life. And a part of the reason why she probably felt that way more than anybody was because she was so young. Like when they got abducted into the Black Widow program, she was a lot younger than Natasha. I think she might be like 3 or 4 years younger than her, but they were kids. I'm sure that meant the world to her. And she never knew any other family aside from that. Man, she just had a lot of really dope lines in here, man, with regards to that situation and her family. And it was really cool to have that dynamic in this movie. It was one of my favorite parts of the whole damn movie, honestly. The way they infused comedy in here with her and the family felt very real. It wasn't on no Guardian of the Galaxy shit, because it wouldn't have fit here. But it felt like the way that a family would tease you, like when she was talking about how she be posing and all that felt very much like something a little sister or a sibling would do. Yeah, it's like, why you always doing it like this? You look dumb. Exactly. Dumb. Right. And she always came across as tough too. It's like, even though she was funny and had all this heart and emotion, you never thought for a second that she wasn't a threat. Like I felt like she also was tough and displayed a lot of fighting qualities as well. So it was just really cool to see a well-rounded character like that. It was very dope.
So their dad, who we find out was yet another super soldier, Russia's super soldier known as the Red Guardian.
They was just giving this serum out, huh? Apparently everybody got it.
Yeah, like, it'd be like that in the comics. Yeah. They be having, everybody got a damn
version.
Yeah, every country got a super soldier, man. And he was like the head of their fictional household. What the hell was he doing? They had to leave like so damn quick.
I think he had stole, because he had a disc with him. Yeah. And I think he had stole some data or something, and then maybe they caught on to him. The government.
Kind of vague and what the hell he did. But
I thought it was me. I thought I missed something. But yeah, okay. That's good to hear that you felt that way too. It just felt like they abruptly had to jump ship and run. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
We reintroduced to his character like 20 years after the family is separated. They kind of enlist his help to find this notorious Red Room. They had some very unfortunate dealings with this organization. Him and the fictional wife, played by Rachel Weisz. They had some unfortunate dealings with this organization too. The mom is like some kind of scientist who has been experimenting with with animals and seemingly humans too, and just creating some type of mind control chemical so they can have better control over these kids and weaponize them too. They both got some pretty shady, sketchy ass past, man. It's shitty because when we first introduced to the family, we feel like they really like care about and love these girls, but they make it seem as if that was never the case. But you can tell that they had they cared about them to some extent.
They definitely cared. Their job was priority.
Yeah, it kind of overshadowed.
It's very clear, and they did a great job of playing that, but it's very clear and apparent that they have an emotional attachment to both of these children. They still call them their daughters. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't do that for kids that you didn't feel related to in that way. It's funny because even though they've been apart for so long, and that's kind of true to a family in general though, man. It's like you could be apart for however many years and then you connect, and sometimes you just right back in there, you know, jump right back into your old familiar habits because that bond kind of never breaks. Probably apart for over 20-something years. When they linked back up, they sat at the table. It was just like a family would. You know, they up in there teasing each other, they joking, they having that family banter. And I don't know, it was just cool to see. And even though these people clearly have various missions and agendas and objectives, they still had that connection, man. And you saw that in the beginning of the movie, and it was cool to see that maintained, even though they had ulterior motives.
I guess we can lump the villains all in together.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about Taz Master, who wasn't the main villain, but the main henchman to the main villain. You know, man, I just knew, for some reason, Taz Master was going to be a woman. I don't know why, I just felt it. I just could tell that that's the direction they was going.
Yeah.
You know, when they revealed, I just was like, yep, I knew this was going to happen. I thought she looked cool as fuck as the villain. In that regard, I thought it looked dope. The movement was dope. The way in which they incorporated the mimic of the of other Avengers was cool as hell. My only issue with Taz Master was that she felt like a henchman. She didn't really feel like a person. And I understand why she didn't. You see how the story unfolded. You get why she doesn't feel like a person, but I don't know. It just felt like a wasted opportunity to me.
What I will say that they did in this movie, they took a liberty with Taskmaster, but to me, it fit the story. I feel like you feel though. I wish they would have gave it more depth, because that character is so significant and a really cool villain, by the way.
Is dope.
And the outfit, they took all that time to make the outfit look super comic authentic. So I wish that she would have got a little bit more shine in this movie. I had no issue with the woman thing. I thought that it fit well. I thought that the narrative they created around Taskmaster was actually really cool. I just wish it would have felt more weighted and we would have got to spend more time with Taskmaster, because that's the villain we want to see. I don't want to see this fat ass nigga behind a computer. I mean, I'm just being honest here. Like, I want to see Taskmaster fight Black Widow. What the fuck?
Yeah.
And then it's like, if you're going to take the direction to turn Taskmaster into this woman, give her this haunted past that's interconnected to Black Widow, to give it a little bit more depth, to see Black Widow maybe interact with her before her coming to Taskmaster, that would have made that whole scene of her doing that, blowing that building up, mean so much more, because it's like, damn, it's really a means to an end for her. Like, despite knowing this girl, having a relationship with her, she still was willing to blow that building up to save herself, and that kind of speaks to who she was and who she is now.
Yeah.
Because that's what they were trying to show you, the growth of the character, and that would have meant a lot more. How'd you feel about, what's the guy name?
What guy?
The guy that runs the Red Room. What's his name?
Bro, he was so forgettable as a...
Yeah, we'll just call him the Red Room man.
Boss man.
There you go.
He was probably one of the weakest MCU villains I've ever seen. And that's saying a lot.
You didn't want to have a physical villain in here. You wanted to have more of an intellectual, more of a mastermind, which is okay. I can appreciate that. But his motives were so paper thin. It's like, nigga, what? I couldn't tell you what his objective was.
Take over the world.
That's, oh my God. You got a building in the sky. But what are you trying to do? Like, you spent all this money and resources for what? I just don't understand.
It was just very old, white, wealthy man bad vibe. That's how I felt.
That's a motivation you've seen before, but I'm talking about as that type of motivation goes, this was probably one of the thinnest that I've seen. Clearly the guy's, he's insane, right? Obviously, but I wish they would have made him a little bit more human when he was talking to her. Like, maybe he kind of justified to us, like maybe like a Thanos. It's like, all right, what you doing ain't justified and it's crazy as all hell, but the way that you're explaining it, at least lets me know that you have some type of conviction about what you're doing. I didn't feel like that with this nigga. It just seemed like when it was time to answer questions, he was just like, because evil.
It's like one of two things that they want to do: destroy the world or take over the world. So I get that. I know most villains don't have a lot of motivation outside of that in a superhero movie, but it would have been interesting to see something more interesting in that. I guess I was expecting this movie to feel more like a Captain America, Mission Impossible type vibe, you know. And even those movies, even though you like 9 times out of 10 is going to be a guy wanting to take over the world, for some reason those movies just still work for me, because I feel like they just put more effort into the plot and the action sequences. And not to say that the action sequences were bad, it just, nothing felt amazing to me. The main focus of this movie was Black Widow, of course, and her past and her redemption.
Her family clearly was the focal point of this movie. That's where they put the most energy. That's where they put the most heart. That's where the best lines were. It felt like the villain plot thing was just a means to an end for them to get to point A to B, but it was definitely a subplot. This is something that I've kind of noticed in Marvel movies in recent years in general. They have a tendency to hypercut these fight scenes in a way that it is incredibly disorienting, man. I swear to God. But it was very apparent in this movie to me for some reason, and I think that's because Black Widow's fighting style involves a lot of hand-to-hand combat. You can't do close-ups and hypercuts and shaky cam, dude. That's a recipe for disaster. I could not see, and it's like, I want to see the action. If y'all took this time to choreograph this action scene, y'all done set it up, these actresses that are equipped, y'all got stunt doubles, we want to see it. Soon as somebody throw a punch, I feel like I'm doing this while I'm watching it. You can't see shit. Yeah. You just look and a person is on the ground and you don't know what the fuck happened. Your mind makes the connection, but you don't see it. I promise you.
I'm glad you brought that up because one of the biggest takeaways from this movie, I do not like when I can't tell what's going on in action scenes. So many movies that have done it so much better already, like the Captain America Winter Soldier. Yes. I mean, I can't help but to compare it to that because it's the same style of movie. It's more of a grounded type movie, and the fight scenes in that movie were just some of the best in in all of the Marvel movies. Movies like Ip Man and The Raid, like when you get a lot of hand-to-hand combat scenes. For a movie like this that is focusing on a normal human individual, you have to put forth that much more effort in the fight sequences. I know we talked about her a little bit already, but Taz Master, I thought the design was really cool to see in live action. Had a very modern look to it, very menacing, intimidating looking villain.
I thought it was a missed opportunity to not really get to see that fight between her and Red Guardian. That would have been really cool. They showed pieces of it, but they pushed it to the background because there was so much other stuff going on with the main plot, I guess, with the main villain plot with the guy and the widows, and I understood that, but that's the fight you want to see, honestly. Aside from her and Black Widow, Taskmaster's ability is to mimic other people. Well, how cool would it have been to actually see her fight this super soldier, Red Guardian, and especially with him talking a lot of the cash shit he was talking in this movie about how dope he was. I wanted to see that. You never really got to see him fight a formidable foe, man, and and they had to fight, they just didn't show it. How'd you feel about the after credit scene?
The end credit scene features Valentina, who we saw at the end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier as well. She basically tells Natasha's sister that they found a guy that was responsible for Natasha's death, which...
No.
I mean, how long can she go believing that? Like, can't she just ask ask the Avengers, hey, what happened to my sister? Oh,
Did you not hear about the Thanos situation of it all? Like, what are you talking about, Hawkeye? Like, that was just random to me. I'm like, bro,
I feel like
they whole purple villain walking around that everybody knew about. That's what I will say on that. If you're gonna fucking kill Hawkeye, for God's sakes, they've been hitting at killing this nigga
since he gotta have
Age of Ultron.
Yeah, they really made it seem like he was gonna die.
Man, I've never seen a character so foreshadowed for death than in Age of Ultron. I said, oh, he out of here. So his family. And Endgame. Yeah. I feel like the first Avengers, man, they kind of make hints at Hawkeye dying. They've been doing it for years. Now you sending a top assassin after him. Yeah. Either let the guy live or kill him. That's what we at with that. She'll probably make an appearance in the Hawkeye show then.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I want to see, I'm so excited that she's in the MCU now, and I'm happy that they did not kill her character.
She probably going to be the next Black Widow.
That's what I was saying, too. Yeah. I was thinking that myself, and that would actually be really cool. I'm excited to see some shit like that.
I think this just boils down to it being late for a Black Widow movie. I think they should have released this movie probably several years ago. It would have served more of a purpose then, before we've gotten as far as we did in the MCU. Yeah,
it's curious to me the fact that they mentioned that all of this takes place after Civil War. This would have been the ideal point to release this movie. I mean, it would have meant a lot more to see this journey before seeing her in Infinity War and things like that.
I mean, we on intergalactic levels at this point.
Yeah, so. Of course, the character's deceased now. That's the elephant in the room. So y'all done gave us all this backstory for Black Widow now. For what though? Like, the character's no longer in the MCU. I mean, of course, there's always potential that they could bring her back. So I'm always open to that. And I still enjoyed this movie even in saying that, but it just was odd to me that now, after Black Widow is no longer here, and now they choose to release a movie for her.
So overall, I was moderately entertained by it. I think the things that held this movie back for me were the jump cuts, fight scenes, the weak ass villain, unfortunately, and also the point in time they released this movie. I felt like this movie should have came out several years ago. But what I did appreciate is getting a glimpse into Black Widow's past, seeing her in a more human and vulnerable state. For the aforementioned reasons, I'm gonna have to give Black Widow. It's a 6 for me, man.
Personally, I really enjoyed this movie. I did. I was invested mainly because of the family dynamic and the way in which that was delivered. The chemistry between Scarlett Johansson and Florence Pugh was really well done. You felt that sister dynamic. For a movie like this, I accepted it because it was clear that they were trying to make a more human, a more relatable Black Widow in this movie. Of course, she's deceased now in the MCU, so it would make sense that they want to give you a little bit more perspective on her as a person and make you feel a little bit more for the character. So this was more of a human movie. The action and all of that, which it was a lot of it, was kind of mid to me. Like, that's where this movie kind of missed the mark. It still had enjoyable moments, man, and I had fun watching this movie. I wish I would have had a little bit more fun. For me, I'm gonna give this movie a 7.
All right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to our review of Black Widow. Hope y'all enjoyed that. And as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And if you have any suggested reviews, don't forget to drop a comment below.
Absolutely. And if you guys have seen Black Widow, please let us know what you thought. How'd you feel about the overall plot? How'd you feel about the new human take on Black Widow? And where do you rank this in terms of the MCU movies? We'd like to know that as well. We appreciate y'all, man.
All right, peace.
Peace.